So the Silent Hill showcase happened recently, and Silent Hill is a franchise that hasn't really been around for a long time now, about like 10 years, I think. And a lot of fans have been really conflicted about Silent Hill returning, mostly because Team Silent is no longer involved. And the last time we had any hope of Silent Hill coming back was with PT and the announcement of Silent Hills, was a canceled project that Kojima and the people like Hideo Kojima, Guillermo del Toro, and Junji Ito were involved with. It probably was the most promising thing that we've gotten out of Silent Hill since the departure of Team Silent, and I, along with many other people, were disappointed to hear it was being canceled. So after that, the franchise kind of went quiet again for quite a long time. And it wasn't until just yesterday, as of the recording of this video, that we finally got some new announcements for Silent Hill. Of course, this was leaked quite a while ago that we were going to potentially be getting a Silent Hill 2 remake by the developer Bloober Team. But a lot of people really disputed these rumors and leaks, saying that they weren't true. And then we also had some leaked images of a new unnamed Silent Hill game that really didn't look anything like a Silent Hill game because it had to do with cyberbullying of all things. And apparently that still could potentially be a Silent Hill game that is happening, which is one of the announcements that we got yesterday. But the biggest one, of course, is the announcement or pretty much the confirmation that a Silent Hill 2 remake by Bloober Team is, of course, it is in fact happening. And we got the trailer for it. Now, I'm one of the people who is not really all that excited with the fact that we're getting a Silent Hill 2 remake, mostly because of the people working on it, that being Bloober Team. But let me just quickly kind of go over what we saw from the reveal trailer. Basically, we just saw various different cutscenes redone in, I believe, in Unreal Engine, and showing off the new model for James, which honestly doesn't look that great in comparison to the original model, or just the original character model for James. It looks kind of off in the face. James looks much older than he should, which I believe in the original game, James Sunderland? James was like 29 in the original game, and here he looks much older than that. I'm not really sure how to feel about this. We didn't really get any gameplay, of course. It's mostly just all various cutscenes that were, remade from the original game. But we do get some implication as to how Bloober Team is going to be approaching this remake. A lot of people have kind of picked up on this, but if you remember in the original Silent Hill 2, James is a character who doesn't really let a lot of emotion really like show on his face, even though he might be, feeling something or just feeling very distraught. He rarely lets his emotion, displays his emotions outwardly. He kind of keeps a lot of things bottled up. And as we can see in the remake trailer, this version of James is kind of showing a lot of distress and a lot of various different emotions on his face. And it just kind of feels like a bit of a misinterpretation of the original character. And it kind of, aside from the developer Bloober Team working on this, which I'll kind of go over it a little bit here, the fact that they're approaching James's character this way already concerns me a little bit, because if they're approaching the character this way, then what else are they misinterpreting about Silent Hill 2? It kind of has me concerned. But of course, the developer Bloober Team is not really I will make no secret about my kind of, not really I would say dislike, but I'm not really a big fan of Bloober Team. Bloober Team is mostly known for games like Layers of Fear, Blair Witch, and The Medium. Most of those games are basically just walking simulators. Layers of Fear I would categorize as essentially a haunted house simulator. You basically walk through various different places and things try to scare you. There is no real failure state in the game. You're pretty much walking around these various different environments, and there's creepy things happening, but it's not scary because, for various different reasons, but that being one of them. You can't really die. So you don't, I mean, it kind of just fails on a fundamental level as a horror game, in my opinion. What is there to be afraid of? I'm not going to die. Nothing can really kill me. So therefore, a lot of tension is removed from the game, or the gameplay experience. But not only that, they did try to make something a little bit different with the medium, which was trying to be more, not really a first-person walking simulator, but more like a mystery horror game. I wouldn't really say it's a survival horror game, but it was something that was a little bit different. And of course, Akira Yamaoka, who has been involved with Silent Hill for a long time, worked with them on that project. And I've heard mixed things about the game. I haven't played it myself, so I can't really judge. But if I could guess, I would say that the Silent Hill 2 remake might be more like the medium in terms of its gameplay, and not really like the original Silent Hill 2. Of course, we can't really say anything for certain yet because we haven't seen any actual gameplay from the Silent Hill 2 remake. A lot of it has just been the cutscenes, and I'm really gonna have to wait until we get some gameplay to give my, to really say whether or not it's going to be in any way resembling the original game. As of what we've seen so far, I will give them credit, they are kind of trying to faithfully recreate a lot of the scenes from the original game, but I'm just not really feeling the character, whoever they got to model for James. It just does not look right, in my opinion. And I guess that's really the only thing so far I can complain about. Otherwise, the game, it does look good. I'm guessing they're using Unreal Engine 5, but it does look really good. I mean, visually, it's an impressive game. And of course, they got, I believe, Akira Yamaoka's coming back for it, and they also have Masahiro Ito returning to do the monster designs, which is something that is at least somewhat promising because Masahiro Ito, of course, did the original designs for the monsters. So I'm guessing we can expect a mostly faithful recreation of the monsters that we saw in Silent Hill 2. Of course, we got a slight preview of those with the nurses and seeing Pyramid Head in the trailer. So that looked good at least, but I still need to see more. I need to see gameplay. I need to see more of what this game is before I can really judge it too much. But as of right now, I'm just I'm not really, I don't have high hopes for this, mostly because of the developers who are working on it. I know a lot of people, there are people that like Bloober Team, and that's fine. People, that they might like the kind of games that they create, and there's definitely an audience for that. But I'm just not one of those people. I'm not a big fan of that kind of game. I kind of want a more traditional survival horror experience. Now, that doesn't always mean there needs to be fixed camera angles and all that, but I want something that feels more like old school survival horror and not just a walking simulator. I feel like my overall opinion about this is there were probably better choices for devs to work on a Silent Hill 2 remake than Bloober Team. One dev that comes to mind, even though they don't have a long track record or anything like that, is actually the people behind Tormented Souls, a game I just recently played. It feels much more like a traditional survival horror game, not just in terms of it having fixed camera angles, but also just in terms of its gameplay. I really think they would nail a Silent Hill remake. And another thing I just want to say is that I understand why a Silent Hill 2 remake is happening, because I think it's probably the most popular game in the series, but I would have much preferred a Silent Hill, the remake of the original Silent Hill, as opposed to a Silent Hill 2 remake. Silent Hill, I believe, is a game that most needs a remake, because of course it's a PlayStation 1 title, and it's still a really good game. It's a classic, but Silent Hill 2, it's just, I wouldn't say it's overrated, but of course, it's the most popular game in the series, but I just feel like there were better choices. I think you should have just started from the beginning. Just start with Silent Hill 1. But of course, Silent Hill 2 being the most popular game, I guess it was the obvious choice. So I'm not, really all that opposed to it. It's just the way it's being handled. I mean, this is Konami, so what can you really expect? But of course, Silent Hill 2 Remake was not the only thing to be that was announced. We have a few other things. One game being this game called Silent Hill Townfall. I don't know who comes up with these titles, but if that's not the dumbest title I've ever heard, I can't think of anything more silly than a title like Townfall. What does that even mean? That's not even a word. It just doesn't. I mean, I guess you could, to be fair, revengeance isn't a word either, but it does sound cooler than a Townfall. Anyway, this is being done by devs I've never heard of them. They made a game called Observer and another game where I looked at some screenshots of it, and it looks like you're just kind of looking at video feeds on various different cameras like CCTV. It looked a little bit like Five Nights at Freddy's, and that you're looking at these video cameras and stuff, and then you eventually just get, a monster jump scares you or something. Maybe that's not how the game, their game plays, but I'm just kind of going off of the screenshots. I haven't played their game, so I can't say for sure. I mean, apparently they're very well received. So, I mean, hey, maybe we'll get a Silent Hill game where you're looking at CCTV footage of monsters or something. I don't know. Maybe that's some people's cup of tea, but honestly, I could not possibly care less. It's just, I don't know. I don't feel like that's not Silent Hill to me. But of course, I don't really have too much to say about this because we just haven't really we don't have too much information about it. I can only assume that might be what the game is. We don't really get much of anything because we just get, characters communicating through like a walkie-talkie or a radio and some video footage on a TV, and that's about it. And of course, just the title. Another game we're getting, well, I should also mention we're also getting apparently a new Silent Hill movie in production, which I think they're bringing back the original director that did the original Silent Hill movie for it, which is a good thing. I did actually like the original Silent Hill movie. It wasn't the greatest thing ever, of course, but it was actually not too bad as far as video game, movie adaptations of video games go. But I'm also just not really sure what they could do for another Silent Hill movie. With Revelations, which was a terrible movie, they pretty much tried to adapt Silent Hill 3 in the worst way possible. So I'm really not sure what they're going to do. I don't know if they're going to take elements from various different Silent Hill games and kind of make their own thing out of it. I don't know what to expect from it. And yeah, I don't really have too much of an opinion about that. But of course, we also get the announcement of the game that I kind of alluded to earlier, which was about, I think this is the one that it has to do with cyberbullying or something. It's going to be a live service game, Silent Hill Ascension. Oh God, just the trailer just consists of, I guess, a live chat or something, and then just showing off a monster. And it's just what I saw does not bode well. I mean, if the leaks for this game are to be believed, it's going to be pretty terrible. I think this game, I'm just going to go ahead and call it. I think this game is DOA. This game is going to fail immediately. It's nobody who is a Silent Hill fan is asking for a live service Silent Hill game. So I don't know what they were thinking when they decided to do this. I really just have to blame Konami again because they're, of course, reanimating the corpse of Silent Hill just to do what they did post Team Silent, which is give the franchise to various different developers who don't all, or at least not all of them really have a proven track record that would give any indication they would be good for, creating a new Silent Hill game. Konami's kind of, it feels like in a lot of ways they're just repeating the same mistakes. I mean, I don't know who expected Konami to learn from any of the mistakes they've made in the past in regards to the Silent Hill franchise. It just seems like history is kind of repeating itself here. However, there is somewhat of a glimmer of hope. There was also the announcement of one other new Silent Hill property, which is Silent Hill F. This one has me scratching my head quite a bit, I'll be honest. I don't know what the title is supposed to imply, and the trailer is very, 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 very vague. We don't really get much of anything from the trailer other than it's showing that it's going to be set in Japan, and there is some kind of weird flower fungus creatures and just very creepy looking vines like wrapping around things. And yeah, it definitely, but it also doesn't really feel like a Silent Hill game. It feels more like a game like Siren or something like that, which was, funnily enough, also created by former Silent Hill devs. So maybe this game is more like a spiritual successor to the Siren games in a weird way. But another crazy thing that really piqued my interest is that it's being written by Ryokishi07, who is of course known for the When They Cry series. And I want to say I'm excited because of that too, but we also should not forget the travesty that was Higurashi When They Cry Go and Sotsu, which was just a complete dumpster fire. Ryokishi apparently is not really the writer he used to be when he did, he wrote the original When They Cry series. He's really just been dropping the ball lately. Apparently people were saying even before he came out with Go and Sotsu, he hasn't been, he hasn't really been as good as he used to be. I can't really say because I haven't played his more recent, or read his more recent stuff. I think the most recent thing he's been doing is Syconia, but I haven't read it, so I can't say for sure. I don't know if that's what people were referring to. It's just something I've heard. I'm not giving my opinion based on that, but I am giving my opinion based on what I've seen from Go and Sotsu, which was trash in my opinion. So I don't know, maybe he won't drop the ball when it comes to Silent Hill. Maybe he'll give us something that's interesting and new. Based on what I saw of the trailer, I am pretty intrigued. I like the atmosphere. I like the designs of the monsters, or I don't know if the thing we see at the end is an implication of what kind of creatures we'll be going up against in the game. But yeah, that's really like the only thing that I'm kind of interested in based on this showcase. Silent Hill 2 Remake is kind of up in the air for me. I am very much have low expectations for the Silent Hill 2 Remake, but I'm also willing to give it somewhat of a chance because I want to, even though Bloober Team, like I said, does not have the best track record. I know that they are fans of Silent Hill apparently, but that doesn't always mean that just because, somebody is a fan of something doesn't always mean they're going to give us, the best version of that thing, I suppose. So I don't know. It's just a wait and see situation at the moment. I really just wanted to give my take on what I've seen based on what was shown in the showcase. My overall opinion so far is that I think Konami is, like I said, just repeating the same mistakes that they've been doing since since Team Silent disbanded, and that they're just giving the franchise to these random, mostly Western developers, and most of these devs aren't going to treat the franchise with the greatest of respect. I feel like they're just going to not really understand what Silent Hill is, and they're going to completely butcher it, which is what happened with all the Silent Hill games post Team Silent. Some people might, will say stuff like, well, Silent Hill Shattered Memories was actually okay. And I mean, that's fair. I haven't played Shattered Memories, but most of the other games I really think were pretty terrible, and I don't consider them real Silent Hill games. So I don't know. I'm hoping this isn't going to be another case of that. The game that I know is going to be I'm almost 99% sure at least is going to be a straight dumpster fire is Silent Hill Ascension. Townfall is maybe a close second. I don't know. Maybe Townfall might actually be a surprise. Who knows? I don't want to say it's going to be terrible, right? Just without having seen anything from it. But I guess we'll just, again, it's a wait and see situation. But I just felt like giving my opinion on this. I haven't really done an opinion video in a while, and I do apologize for that. I admittedly just have not really had the drive to create a lot of my own solo content or anything like that for a while. I really need to get back to it, but let me know what you guys thought about this showcase. And yeah, I will be doing a podcast with my friend BioDevil Dom about this tomorrow. So we're going to be going much more in depth about our opinions about these games that were shown off. But this is just my, just my own take on what was shown. So Yeah, until next time, guys, I will see you all later.